So the reason this whole term of short squeeze got started was the Wallstreetbets crowd and the GameStop and the AMC, and we all remember what happened there with Wallstreetbets. It was a Reddit page. They talked about how overly shorted GameStop was. A lot of people got together because of the forum, and it triggered a short squeeze on GameStop, which really put Melvin Capital in a bad spot. Looks like Robinhood kind of bailed him out in that situation, and it brought that term short squeeze into the mainstream. After that, there was talk in this Wallstreetbets crowd that, silver's the next thing to short squeeze. It's going to be silver next. And there was this huge hype, much more so than ever before, which brought all of these new stackers into silver. And then I believe it was the moderators, the admin or whatever it is over there on Reddit for the Wallstreetbets page said, no, that's not us. It's a different thing. We're not for silver. We're for the easy money here on GameStop and kind of more the gambling situation. After that, this crowd called Wall Street Silver emerged, and now they're at like 60,000 members. They're growing really fast. I'd love to talk with these guys in the near future. There's gaining momentum around it, but this term short squeeze originally started really, everyone knows about a short squeeze, but it kind of got into the mainstream because of Wallstreetbets. Now we are seeing this whole movement around silver continue without Wallstreetbets, and now it's its own thing called Wall Street Silver. And there's this talk from what was kind of brought up by, I believe it's Sprott Money, which is in charge of PSLV. It's the Sprott Silver Trust. And they came out with this, May Day type situation. May 1st, they're saying there could be a possible short squeeze here. And I had to go live and talk about it. So welcome everybody for coming in. I felt for this video, what better way to, talk about a possible silver short squeeze than two actual COMEX bars. I'm sure you might be acquainted with these bars. I have pictures of them on my Instagram if you want to go look at more close-up pictures of these at Rob Sultan on Instagram. If you want to shoot me a follow over there, would really love that. But two COMEX bars. These are actually from 1951, back when somebody actually had to redeem silver certificates for these assay bars. And I have a pair of sequential bars that were made side by side, if you can believe it, in 1951. I picked them up actually about a year and a half apart from each other. So pretty crazy that I was able to reunite these two bars after that much time apart. And the toning kind of tells that story that they were separated. But I have a unique take on this silver short squeeze situation here, and I wanted to go live and talk about it. The first thing I want to say is a silver short squeeze is a lot different than GameStop or AMC. And the last time, there was talk of a silver short squeeze, it got it over 30 and then it kind of pulled back. But what actually happened that a lot of people might not recognize, all of us in the silver scene do recognize this, is the premiums kind of stayed. So although it didn't stay over 30 after the last short squeeze situation in silver, the premiums have not faded. They keep going. They keep steadily either going up or staying the same, these silver premiums. And if you don't know what a silver premium is, it means there's spot price, which is $26, and the premium might be over $30 per ounce of silver. If you're buying Eagles, well over $30 for a silver Eagle. So we're talking about the premium spread above what the spot price is when we're talking about a premium on silver, on physical silver. With this next squeeze scenario, and it's supposedly happening here over the weekend, May 1st, I have to say that this is just a video on my opinion, not to be taken as financial advice in any way, shape, or form. None of my videos are supposed to be taken as financial advice. This is just my opinion for education, entertainment purposes. Could be completely wrong about the things we say here. So, disclaimer. I think what's more important to talk about is just stacking silver in general. And the difference between a silver short squeeze is I want my audience, at least for me, to come out with this video and to say it's not about gambling. When I look at what happened with GameStop and what happened with AMC, and you see this crowd forming on Reddit, they're looking for an easy payday and they want easy, quick money. It's more of a gambling type situation where, you throw some options on it and you get a quick 1 month expiration option or a couple week expiration option, or even if you're getting real serious, you get a 1 week expiration option with, a deep out of the money call contract, when there's supposedly a short squeeze, and you might get some huge reward and you might lose everything. So there's this big gamble type aspect to the traditional short squeeze, from Reddit. They're talking more about easy money, in my opinion. Silver is more about what do you consider money How do you want to save your money? How do you want to hold your assets? How do you want to protect yourself against hyperinflation? Now, if there's, a short squeeze around it, beautiful. Why not? It deserves to be short squeezed. All the banks have been suppressing it for way too long. Just my personal opinion. The other thing I want to talk about is the fact that Sprott Silver Trust is the one bringing this up. I think what I should do is actually read this little, I believe it was just an article posted on Sprott Money. They said, so over the next 10 days, we will prepare. I'll work with the Wall Street Silver guys, Chris Marcus, and everyone else interested in fighting back. If we get 100,000 people to buy 100 ounces of physical silver, we can cause a serious problem. If we can also get an army of retail traders to play along by adding PSLV and even SLV to their portfolios, we'll marshal the forces needed to potentially overwhelm our enemy. This effort will be my focus over the next, when he says I wonder if this is Eric Sprott himself, but he didn't put his name on there or anything, but he said, this effort will be my focus over the next 10 days. And I hope it will be yours too. We will take our revenge by staging the largest silver squeeze yet, and we will do it on the 10-year anniversary of the May Day massacre of May 1st, 2021. So a 10-year anniversary of the May Day situation. Please join our fight for honest pricing and truth. And be ready to take action on May 1st. So May 1st is tomorrow. So it's kind of an interesting situation here. And that's a very big, that's PSLV. That is if you look at the ETF PSLV, that's Sprott. And Sprott Money is the one who issued that. So it's kind of interesting that they would do that. And between SLV, I think SLV's worst enemy is PSLV. And it's pretty cool that they put the P in front of it, because it's almost like this is physical. We actually have it, and we're not playing any games here at PSLV, whereas SLV is JP Morgan, who is the custodian. And isn't it so backwards? I don't think it should be legal, in my personal opinion, to be able to manipulate the metals market if you're the custodian for a major ETF like SLV. So if JP Morgan is storing this much silver, knows how much silver is there, and has the allocated physical silver to cover the short positions that them and their buddies are playing with in the metals market, it should be illegal to do that. It shouldn't be legal for them to be the custodian of the physical silver and then also be able to short against that physical silver that they already hold to manipulate the market. It shouldn't be. It's completely wrong. It's backwards. It doesn't make any sense. So the idea that PSLV is around where, they hold their silver, I believe it is at the Royal Canadian Bank. So it's actually not even in the US, I believe, with the PSLV, whereas SLV is JP Morgan, who is the custodian, which I wouldn't be in SLV. I'd be in PSLV. If I was in ETFs, I'm not in any ETFs. I'm only in physical silver. I think physical silver is first. If you're going to go with the ETF route, you're not going to enjoy the premiums because it's just going to show it's going to go by the price of silver. But if there is a silver squeeze, it would go after the physical stuff. The physical stuff would be what gets a huge premium because the demand would outpace the supply. And so those with the supply could basically name their price. And that's going to be a situation where the premiums could be over 40 an ounce. Who knows where the premiums could lie for physical silver with a possible short squeeze scenario. Those who have the physical metal will be in the power. And if you have SLV, if you have PSLV, you'll probably you'll get gains as well, but just not in the same way, and you won't have the same power as physical precious metals. But what I wanted to go over in this video is, for me personally, it's not about gambling. Stacking silver for me is not about gambling at all. And that's what a short squeeze really kind of screams to me is this specific day at this specific time, we are going to have a short squeeze of all short squeezes. What that tells me is, there's going to be a line of people that want a quick buck. And that's what I hope it doesn't turn into, where people just want to buy silver just for that weekend and then get out of silver and make a quick flip, make 100% and get out of it. I don't think that that's what's going to happen, but I think that a lot of people think of it that way. When I saw what happened with GameStop, it's like, I want a Lambo right now. I don't want to wait, 5 years and make a good investment and get a Lambo later and get consistent income or protect my assets over a long time. I want a Lambo right now. And so a short squeeze in silver, you're talking about an over $1 trillion asset class. You're not talking about a micro cap stock that's overly shorted in the stock market, but there is a lot more momentum along physical silver. And physical silver, as we all know, is more rare above ground than gold. So physical silver, the market cap is low. It's in the right place. You know, there isn't, it's much more rare, and it is also being gobbled up by actual industry. And you guys know I love silver more than gold because it's actually industrial purposes for silver, whereas gold is just more so money. But it could get interesting because really the physical silver price, in my personal opinion, should be well over 100 an ounce. In this current day and age, like I've said this in past videos, you know, if you went back 5 years from today and found me, you know, squirreling around in my warehouse and you said, hey, Rob, you know, it's 2021. They've printed almost $15 trillion or roughly in that range over the past year and a half out of thin air. And the deficit has only grown and grown and grown. The whole economy got shut down for over a year. And it's just a crazy, crazy time. I would look back at you 5 years ago and go, yeah, well, silver's well over 100 an ounce, right? Wait, you mean it's at 26? You know that prior to all of that in 2011, it would actually hit 48 an ounce. But it's only at 26 after printing that much money? After everything going on, there's a currency bubble, and it's at 26. That doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense to me. So without the silver squeeze scenario, so take that out of the picture. Take the, you know, even all of the money that's been printed out of the picture, I still would be bullish on silver regardless of any of that, just because it's so undervalued. But you add that into the equation, it almost seems just ludicrous that it's this low. That's how I feel about physical silver. So if anything, this is just something that could bring a lot more stackers into the equation. If it does work and it gets to over 40 an ounce, I'm not selling my silver. I'm holding it. And I think that's what the movement should be about, is how do you get your money? How do you take control of your assets? How do you hedge yourself against inflation for the long term and protect yourself? That's what it should be about. Not about making a quick buck, not about a quick turnaround and a quick flip. It should be about how do you store your profits? You might have a company that's doing well. You might have some online company and you're doing well right now. You might not be doing well and you need to protect the amount of money that you have. Whatever you do to get your cash flow, you should consider silver as a place to store that capital, to store your profits, to store your hard-earned money. Because right now there is one certainty. The idea that silver could short squeeze over 40 an ounce over the weekend, that's a gamble. But you know what isn't a gamble? Knowing that if you hold your dollars in a bank account after how much dollars they printed, if you're holding your dollars, say at JP Morgan, and it's sitting there in a bank account, you got to say 100 grand saved up or 10 grand saved up or whatever it might be in your bank account saved up, you know that that dollar is an ice cube that is melting year over year over year, and inevitably it'll be nothing but water, worthless water. That's what's going to happen over time. That is the certainty. So is silver going to short squeeze? We don't know. It's possible. It's possible with all this momentum happening, because what's different about this short squeeze scenario is the same people from the first one accumulated and held, most likely. They probably just have been holding their silver and continuing to buy. So now we go to a round two of a short squeeze after we've experienced it one time. There's more stackers now. It's possible. It's possible that this could really make a serious dent on moving silver in the upward trajectory. And if it gets so serious that banks have to back it, where banks have to cover their short positions and actually buy the physical silver, the key would be, you know, sticking it to the big banks. Is it's more so than just having a short squeeze. What really sticks it to the bank is taking your money out of the big banks and putting it into a decentralized asset. That's really what it is. And gold isn't a decentralized asset, by the way, because the central banks have a lot of gold. They don't have a lot of silver. So when I say decentralized assets, I mean silver. I actually even mean palladium and platinum, because they don't have palladium and platinum either at the central banks. They got a ton of gold, though. Got a ton of gold. So the whole term decentralized means away from a central bank. So that's why Bitcoin is decentralized and cryptocurrency is decentralized. Silver is decentralized, in my personal opinion, because they don't hold it in the same way that they hold gold. So I think there should be a movement around decentralized assets, and that really gets to the banks. You see, it's not about just one quick silver squeeze or one quick short squeeze. It's about telling the banks, hey, we want to have possession of our money again. We have been giving you free loans for far too long. We have been giving you banks free loans for far too long, where you give us nothing but a 0.0 whatever percent. They don't even give us a penny on the dollar. That whole term, pennies on the dollar, is not even true at the banks. Even if you're in a CD, they won't even give you a penny on the dollar, not even 1%. That has to change. If you're going to inflate our monetary supply, give out loans like it's candy, dilute our dollar, well, you know what, big banks? We want some interest. Is it that much to ask for, Jamie, over at JP Morgan? Is it that much to ask for to actually just let the people have a bit of interest to compensate for the dilution of their dollar? Is it really that much to ask for? Lumber's like doubled, tripled, all these different, asset classes, all these different commodities. They're going up so much because the dollar's been so diluted. Yet these big banks have the audacity to keep their interest rates down at 0.01, whatever it is. You're not even, when you keep your money at the bank, it's just there for the convenience factor of being able to use a debit card. It's not there to accumulate interest like it used to be. Back when I was a kid, I remember that we would get like 6, 7, 8%. Why right now, after how much money these big banks are making through all this, the stock market is inflated to ridiculously lofty levels. Everything's gone up. Yet these big banks haven't changed their interest rates at all. If anything, they've gone down. That's a problem. That's a real problem. And that's what this should all be about. The silver squeeze should not be about making a quick buck. And it's really not sticking it to the banks, just having one quick silver squeeze. What really sticks it to the big banks, in my personal opinion, is a movement towards decentralized assets. The people, we the people, looking at the central banks and going, hey, you have been taking advantage of us and ripping us off for way too long. This is a bad deal. It's a bad deal. That's what it is. And I get passionate about it because it bothers me. I think about this all the time. It's every time I go to the bank, I'm like, I let you sit on my capital and you're making money with my capital. You don't have it in the back in the vault somewhere. Fractional reserve banking doesn't even exist. And you only needed to hold 10% back then. Now you don't even need to do that. You get to just play with my money however you see fit. And you give me nothing, not even a penny on the dollar to do that. It's ridiculous. That's what this silver short squeeze should be about. That's what the whole movement should be about, is less about a quick buck, less about worrying about May 1st and what's going to happen then. Maybe it's going to make the prices of silver go up, so you might want to get into your stacking journey. If you haven't got on your stacking journey yet, maybe it's the time to start your journey. But don't get into it, in my personal opinion, thinking like, oh, I'm going to get a quick GameStop flip. Silver's going to go to 100 overnight, and I'm just going to make all this money in Lambos. Don't think about it that way. That's not the way to look at it. I look at it more like it is a long-term journey, and it should be a start to a long-term journey. And how do you really stick it to the bank? When we, the people, say we are sick of 0.01 whatever interest rate. We're sick of that. It's not even, they don't even give you interest to compensate for the claimed dilution. I call it the dilution rate, the inflation rate over at the Fed. They say it's like a little bit over 2%. Think about that. First off, in my personal opinion, I think that's a big lie. I think the inflation rate is more about 10, 15%. That's my personal opinion. Judging by what's happening in the building space, people are looking to dump out of cash. Real estate's skyrocketing because people want to get rid of their cash. Lumber is skyrocketing because people want to build houses and get out of their cash. That's what they're trying to do, and that's why these prices are going up so much. They want to get out of the dollar. Now, if inflation rate is what they say, I think it's a lot more, obviously. I think it's well over 10%. They say it's 2%. The banks don't even compensate for that. The banks don't even say, hey, look, we understand they've diluted the dollar a lot. We've made a lot giving loans out and doing all this stuff with your money. We should probably give the people 3% on their money. If you hold your money with us, and you don't mess with it and you got a savings account, we'll give you 3% to compensate for the adjusted interest rate here, the adjusted inflation rate here. And that'll help us that'll keep your ice cube at least frozen instead of melting year over year. That would be if they were good people, but they're not. That's the problem here. It's less about the short squeeze, less about a quick buck, more about a movement towards going, you know what? We are sick of you central banks. You've been taking advantage of us for far too long, and it's about time we get a fair shake as the citizens. That's what I think this should be about. I have said this in the past. I think that this whole stimulus package situation here, that money got dwindled away to pretty much nothing when it finally got to the citizens. And what they could have done is literally, out of how much money they have spent in these stimulus packages, what they could have done, not saying that they did do this or will do this or anybody to follow this program because it's not a good idea, but if they had just said, hey, no taxes for 3, 4, 5 years, because they only take in about 3-4 trillion a year in tax revenue, probably less after everything that's happened over the past year and a half. So if they've printed 15 trillion, let's say, and they take in 3 trillion on average per year in revenue through taxes, wouldn't it have just been a better thing for the economy to say, hey, the citizens don't have to pay taxes for 5 years. We printed that money that they would have paid us out of thin air. But no, what they would rather do over there is print and print and print and print, and then allocate that money wherever they did, some in all these different countries and all these different things they allocated the money at, and then gave us a measly $1,400 check after diluting our dollar, adding nearly 40-50% to the actual supply of dollars. They diluted it by that much. But what they could have done, if they really cared about the dollar and strengthening the dollar, strengthening the American brand, strengthening our economy, helping small businesses, they would say, you know, everybody getting a W-2, you get the whole check. Get the whole check, nothing taken out of it. Hey, everybody, all the small businesses, I know you're struggling right now. No tax. Obviously, it's a troubling time right now. We're going to let you off taxes for 3, 4, 5 years. Now that situation is something Yellen or Powell or none of them seem to come up with. It's the college dropout that comes up with that idea. You know, it's my squirrel self. I'm the one saying that, right? A libertarian would come up with that kind of philosophy, not them. They want to just spend and spend money and throw money at their problems so that it just kicks the can down the road on my generation and the generation before my generation and my kids. That's who's going to have to pick up this bag for these incompetent people at the Fed. I get inspired to do these videos, and I want to talk about this silver short squeeze and how I look at it. I think it's a time to start the stacking journey. I think it's a time to start the stacking journey. I think it's a time to reflect on how wrong of a situation the whole banking industry really is for the people, and, you know, a movement towards decentralized assets. That's what I think this should all be about. Now, is it possible? Could the silver squeeze really be real? I mean, Sprott money is pretty big. I mean, this is PSLV making that statement. You know, you got this big crowd growing at Wall Street Silver over there, over 60,000 members over there. You got a big movement. I mean, look at my channel. My channel, I started this less than a year ago, and it's over 20,000 subscribers now, all talking about precious metals and finance. You know, there is a movement towards, you know, protecting our assets and making sure that our savings, that our ice cubes of money are not melting away, and that we find some way to protect it. That's what this is all about. And I think that movement is only going to continue to grow. And as they talk about, you know, what's their answer? You know, their answer right now is going, oh, we're going to raise taxes. Let's raise capital gains on them. That'll get us back on track. We only spent 15 trillion or whatever it is we spent, but yeah, let's make an extra 100 billion off of them by raising their taxes up. That'll help. No, if you actually just let the citizens, if you got out of the way, that's what would help. You just got out of the way. You know, it's really, that's all it is. It's just a mess of entities over there. And so that's their answer. Oh, let's raise taxes. But you know what raising taxes is going to do? It's going to make it so that people that say, that's why this is different for this kind of a short squeeze situation and Bitcoin going up. What's different is, if they're talking about raising capital gains, and this is why, if you guys remember, I made a video just a little bit ago when Bitcoin had dropped to like 47,000, I believe, and I said, yeah, this is ridiculous. People were saying that the reason Bitcoin was selling off is because they were raising capital gains. What I saw from that, I'm going, wait a minute, that's so backwards. You're going to raise capital gains. That means people don't want to declare a gain. That means more people are going to want to buy assets for holding. They're not going to want to declare their gain. So that means they're going to hold it. You know, that's going to backfire. That's what's the real, like, well, I don't know why people weren't talking about it. CNBC, all like, oh, well, they're raising the taxes. That's why Bitcoin's falling. It's like, no, they're going to raise the taxes. That means more people are going to hold their Bitcoin and not sell it. And if they do want to get cash in, they're going to get a loan against their assets. They're not going to sell their silver. They're going to get a loan against it. They're not going to sell their Bitcoin. They're going to get a loan against it. They're going to want to store their capital in Bitcoin and never declare that capital gain because the capital gains is way too high. So that backfires. It actually would make Bitcoin go up. And what do we see now? Bitcoin's back at like 57, 58K. So it turns out that was a good opportunity to get in. But that's what I think of the situation. I think that, you know, the more they raise taxes, the more they want to take and take and take and spend and spend and spend, more people are going to be looking at protecting themselves, storing their capital in physical silver. And it's not about a short-term squeeze. It's not about people going on the, you know, watching videos where like, it's going to go to the moon 150 overnight. It's not about that. It could do that. And very well should be well over 100 an ounce. in silver. And I got my money where my mouth is. I've owned these bars for this one for over 3 years, this one over a year and a half. I got my money where my mouth is with silver, and that's why I put this all out here, apart from being clickbait eye candy. That's what it's here for that. It is what it is. But I also put my money where my mouth is, and that's why I like to have these out. And it also obviously is great eye candy. And over here, I actually have 90% old silver. I got some $50 here, some walkers. I have old silver coins to prove that this is what our money used to be. Our money used to be actually silver. And if you look on the edges of these coins, you look at the edge of these quarters, there's no coppery tinge to the side of them. Why does it's so funny that they keep the reeded edge even though they made our money out of fake metals. They put fake, they took away our silver. It has a different sound to silver, just sounds a little different, you know? You hear silver, it's a little bit of a different sound, but they took the silver out and they put, you know, fake metals in there. And so these edges on the coins was so that people wouldn't shave off the silver on their coins. That's why they put the reeded edge, so you can look at the edges of the silver and know, oh, this is actually, you know, it has all the silver that it's supposed to have in there. Nobody shaved it down. They still keep the reeded edges on our fake money today. It's like this game or something. It's like, oh yeah, let's give them monopoly money and see if they ever find out. But this is real. This is what our money used to be in the US. We used to have the gold standard. Our money used to be back to silver and gold. So again, it's less about just a quick buck. It's less about a quick silver short squeeze, more about how do you protect yourself and how do you get started on your stacking journey. And it's not just about silver. It's about decentralizing assets. It's about collectibles. Anything finite or limited is where we should be parking our money. Because right now, the guarantee is that the dollar is an ice cube that is melting and melting away. They say at 2% annually, which even if it was a little bit over 2% like they say, which we all, if you're in the building industry, you know that that's wrong. You know how much 2x4s are costing now. You know how much all the supplies are costing, how our groceries are going up, how gas prices are going up. Everything's going up. So we all don't really buy that whole, it's 2 point some odd percent. You know, we don't believe you, Jerome. We don't believe you, Janet Yellen. We don't believe you. The real inflation rate that we're feeling through our gas prices and our groceries and the building supplies, I think it's well over 10%. And if that's the case, well, then in 10 years, your ice cube is going to be nothing but water. And it seems to me that that inflation rate is only compounding. So it's not like it's a stagnant inflation rate. It is a compounding interest rate due to the dilution of the dollars. And it just seems like they want to drop more and more helicopters of money. Seems like they want to keep doing it. So it seems that the compounding interest is, you know, they say it's one of the biggest wonders of the finance world is compound interest. You know, you can turn a penny into $1 million by flipping it. I believe it's like, I think it's like not that many times, like 30 times or something like that. But compound interest is a wonder of the finance world. But what happens if compound interest is inflation? Then it's working negatively. You want compound interest to work for you, aka your silver's back to a finite metal like silver. I mean, your money's back to a metal like silver or gold. And so then you have a deflationary money that's, you know, with inflationary wages. But we have the opposite. We have jobs that are staying the same in our wages or going down with a money supply that is being heavily diluted. We're being paid in diluted dollars while the banks give us zero interest. It's like, what is this circus show? What is this? Makes no sense. So I love the idea that more and more people are going to be getting their eyes open to silver. But rather than using the silver short squeeze as a way to be like, you know, pumping silver and saying, oh, silver's going to go to 100 overnight, get it right now. I think it's a great time to start your stacking journey. That's what I think of a possible short squeeze. When, you know, I see the Sprott Silver Trust, they're talking about, oh, if everybody buy a 100-ounce silver bar, if you can afford, you know, a little bit over $3,000 in silver, excuse me, it might be a good idea to start. It might be a good idea to start and get your first 100-ounce silver bar and actually feel what it's like to be able to hold your money in front of you. That 100-ounce silver bar at the beginning of all of this had fallen down to being, you know, $1,200 to $1,500. And now that same 100-ounce silver bar is worth, I mean, let's say this 1,000-ounce bar at one point, if we're just talking about the melt value, these are a bit more collectible, but just the melt value of it at one point been around 15 grand for one of these. Now this same bar is over 30,000 in a little bit over a year. You know, so the more that people understand like holding their money and seeing their money appreciate because they have a limited finite amount of a rare metal, you know, that is actually desired by industry and is being eaten up by the demand of industrial cases. I mean, solar panels, all the green energy stuff, it all needs silver. All your electronics, even these Bitcoin mining farms, they all need silver. And if they want their Bitcoin mining farm to be off the grid via solar panels, they're going to need silver. Silver is just, it's such a needed material. You know, that's how I feel about this situation. I hope it helps you in some way. I wanted to do this live and talk with everybody in a live feed and basically go over, you know, as a silver stacker, as somebody in the precious metals business, I own Mineral Exchange. I look at this and I go, it's a perfect time to look into decentralized assets. It could be anything. It could be a Rolex. It could be, you know, a Pokemon card, a rare Pokemon card. Now, I'd go for silver a little bit more. I think that's a little bit hyped up. But still, anything that's finite, anything that's collectible, that's where we should be. Bitcoin is a great place to be right now because it's finite. But I'm a little bit different than the traditional Bitcoin maximalists who are like all in on Bitcoin. I think it's worthy of a position in a decentralized portfolio. That's how I've always considered Bitcoin, and I see silver the same way. I see silver, I'm a little bit more, I would say I'm a silver maximalist, just like I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, but I have more silver than any other asset. Silver is my number one. It's worth more than anything in my decentralized asset portfolio. That's what I consider silver like my bank. I consider this my bank because I actually hold my money and I only have physical silver. I don't have any ETF, so I can't say that I'm, you know, propping up PSLV, although I like PSLV more than SLV. And I like the fact that PSLV exists so that SLV can get drained and people can go to PSLV. I would love to see that happen. That's all the things I wanted to talk about, but obviously physical is first. Having the physical metal is what's the most important, is owning the physical silver and continuing a stacking journey. And I hope, what my hope is everybody from the first silver squeeze when it got over $30 an ounce, and people were nervous. That first one worked a little bit. People were very nervous and those premiums did hold. Even if silver pulled back a little bit from those highs of over 30, that premium held and it's going up. And I would imagine that people are going to be sitting back at the big, you know, firms that are selling silver to the public right now and going, hey, let's pull back some of our reserves right now. Let's pull back some of our assets and see what happens here over the weekend. So this silver squeeze, it could get well over 30. But the thing is, if it goes over 30, the difference between the ETFs like PSLV and all of that, the premiums will be enjoyed by the people who have physical silver. The local coin shops and everything are going to be paying premiums to buy off of the public, which is something that's completely unheard of. Usually you'll take silver to a local coin shop and they'll buy, you know, they'll try to get, you know, a deal on your silver. But now they're going to be begging for it. They're going to be begging for it. Yeah, we'll pay you a premium for it. And, you know, please take it to our shop. You know, it's like there's going to be people are going to be paying premiums for the silver. And it just is an interesting scenario. And I think what the other thing to talk about too is if more and more people get into stacking, get into holding physical precious metals, get into having collectibles, just because they keep the price falsely suppressed doesn't mean that the individual citizen is going to sell their silver at a discount. That's what they don't understand. You know, just because silver is at 26 doesn't mean I'm going to sell you my bar here for 26K. I'm not. I don't even want to sell it at all. I love these bars. I don't think I'll ever sell them. But the point is just because they say it's 26 doesn't mean that the physical market will give them the silver at that rate. If the physical market holds out and says, nope, just like I'm saying, if you take your money out of the bank and you go and all the citizens across the U.S. went, nope, not letting you hold my money anymore. I'm putting it all into silver, putting it all into real estate, putting it all into my business, taking all of my money out of the bank because you guys give me a bad deal here. I let you sit on my dollars that you helped dilute with the Fed. You guys helped dilute the dollar, you central banks and commercial banks, and then you have the audacity to tell me you're going to give me 0. whatever percent. The audacity behind these clowns. The audacity. It's so wrong. It's so wrong, it bothers me to my core. I think that's what the movement should be about. The movement should be about finally getting a fair shake from the banks, finally telling them, hey, we want a fair interest rate. The dollar's diluted, inflation is growing, everything costs more money. You guys got to give us a fair interest rate or we're not going to hold dollars in your bank. Period. That's what I think the silver squeeze should be about. That's what I think the movement should be about. You know, they're silverback apes or silverback gorillas over there. I've always considered myself a silver squirrel. We've kind of got a little movement around the silver squirrel movement. So people on my channel know that I've always considered myself a silver squirrel just because we're always stashing our acorns around here. But that's my thoughts. That's how I feel about this. And I hope it helps some people. I hope it enlightens about this subject. Anything that comes easy goes easy. So don't look at silver like GameStop or like, you know, Dogecoin or any of this stuff. Look at it more so like I am protecting my assets against hyperinflation. I want a place where I can park my money outside of the bank and sleep at night. To me, that's what physical silver is. That's how I feel about it. Thank you everybody for being here. Wow, we got 450 people in this live stream. That's intense. So if this, if you got some value from this live stream, all I ask is if you could hit the thumbs up button. That's all I ask. If you could do that, it helps get my videos out there to more people. If you're not subscribed to my account, would love to have you as a subscriber. It's totally free to do it. You just click the red subscribe. It should be in one of the corners over here. And if you click the bell and all notifications, you'll be notified of my future videos. And this is the type of topic that I like to talk about on this channel. I hope that it did bring you some value. I'll stick around and we will do some Q&A over here. I think I hate to miss those super chats. I never miss the super chats. Let me see if I could find that. Somebody did a super chat. Here we go. Aaron Bossman, he says, good day from Pilbara in Outback, Western Australia. What is up, Aaron from Western Australia? I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Let me see. I can't scroll up to, there was another one that I can't get to, so I missed out on that one. Sorry about that, man. I was rambling. I was excited about talking about this subject. Let me see. Someone says sell Bitcoin. I'm not selling my Bitcoin because the thing is, here's what people don't realize. A lot of people are up big on silver within a year. They're not going to want to declare a capital gain. And that includes these big institutions that are buying silver, you know, hand over fist. So if they raise capital gains, and that's what they're talking about, they're going to want to buy Bitcoin and hold it and never sell it. That's what's going to happen. That's going to also carry over to silver. It's not like a competition between Bitcoin and precious metals. It really isn't. Z-Fail says, are both of those bars from the shipwreck? No, I do have an Atosha bar. Or not an Atosha, I mean, I had two Atoshas in the past, which I wish I never sold those. I love those bars. I have pictures of those on my Instagram. If you go to the Mineral Exchange Instagram or my personal Instagram, I have more photos about that stuff there, at Rob Sultan or at Mineral Exchange on Instagram. But yeah, I have a Garsopa bar, which is one of the bars that was torpedoed by a German U-boat, and it was the lowest recovery. I believe it was a mile or so down, a couple miles down, which is the deepest recovery for shipwreck, for any shipwreck. So I have one of the Garsopa bars that's over in the safe. I pulled out, these are actually the actual COMEX bars from the New York Assay Office of 1951. If you want better close-ups of this bar, just go to my Instagram at Rob Sultan, and if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see pictures of these exact bars. The hallmarks on these are so rad. These are the coolest bars. They really are. They have that eagle, the American eagle on there, and it's dated 1951, and they're actually sequential serial numbers that were made side by side. So it's just crazy to have that. I mean, these are 70 years old. You know, 70-year-old bars, each one of these, 70 years old. So it's pretty crazy to have this back when our money was back to you know, and then I have actual coins that are like 70 years old over here. So it's like, this is what money was supposed to be in the US. It was supposed to be back to silver and gold, and we've drifted so far away from that. And so that's what, when I see these bars, when I see actual, you know, 90% silver, I look at it and I go, this is what our money was supposed to be. It was supposed to be that. Let's see. I'll get to some more comments. I appreciate you asking that. I think it's Zfail, Xephael. Appreciate that, man. Talk about Ethereum. Ethereum. I'm researching Ethereum pretty close right now. I want to know a lot more about that. Before I get into Ethereum, I have to see some adoption. I still am only in Bitcoin. I'm a Bitcoin maximalist on that. Silver or Scott. Scott says, any advantage or industry specific uses for 9999 plus that would possibly make stacking quad 9 a better idea over 999 fine. It's a good question. I mean, it's such a minimal amount. It's such a minimal difference that I believe that it wouldn't matter too much. I think when it comes to 90%, it would be better to have 999 over 90%. Although 90%, it's a good idea to have, a small amount of 90% for bartering purposes, because everybody knows how much silver is in a 90% coin that was actually government issued back then. So there's a use case for that for bartering. But I agree that it's better to have 999 instead of 90%. When it comes to buying in bulk, you should have at least 999 fine. Let's see here. Mr. T, what is up, Mr. T? He says, bought crypto because of you. Now I feel like I won the lottery. Thanks, Sultan. Mr. T was adamant against crypto for a while. I think what it comes down to is it's not like I'm a maximalist I am a Bitcoin maximalist, but I'm not saying I've never been somebody that looked at Bitcoin as a bad thing or a negative thing. I've always looked at it as, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. It's like Bitcoin's going first to the hoop, throws a layup. MJ, this might be silver and throws a dunk. It's like they're working together. They're both decentralized assets. So I don't understand the whole competition between them. Just have both. That's how I look at it. It's like, why not just have both? What's the whole bitterness about, The way I look at Bitcoin is just, it's foolish to go all in on Bitcoin, and it's equally foolish to have none of it. That's how I think about it. I really feel that way. And as we continue to see more and more institutional buying, I was like, how do you rewrite a monetary system? Well, if all of these big institutions are buying into Bitcoin, they can essentially convert their treasuries to Bitcoin and then pretty much call the shots. So, and it's like, it's better to have stocks that way too. It's like if a traditional stock like Tesla or MicroStrategy is buying Bitcoin with their treasury, they can't announce a secondary of their Bitcoin position. They can announce a secondary of their stock and dilute their stock, but that Bitcoin is staying stagnant because it's a closed loop system. It ends at 21 million. So that's a very interesting situation on converting your treasuries into Bitcoin, because you're converting it to an asset, the only asset in the world that is actually closed looped and finite. So it's like, I don't see it as a competition. I like silver more than Bitcoin because I find silver to be like my actual bank that I can see and touch with my own hands. And I think silver is wildly undervalued, but I also like Bitcoin as well. So I'm happy that some of the videos helped you, Mr. T. And just know I'm only in Bitcoin. That's me personally. I'm only in Bitcoin myself. I'm not in any other cryptocurrency. Hey, Corrupted is in the house. Corrupted is in the house. Hang on, let me get to that. He's like, yo, just joined. Why has gold not moved at all? Thankfully, I'm way more into Bitcoin than gold, but how has everything gone up except gold? It's shameful. I have a unique perspective on gold, and I actually am not big on gold myself. The reason for that is because, all you have to do is go to Google and look up Queen Gold Vault, Queen of England Gold Vault. That's what I think of gold. That's how I feel about it. You see the Queen of England like literally walking around the gold vaults, just gold stacked to her head, just stacks and stacks and stacks of gold in their central bank over there. So where is the gold, and why is silver more rare than gold? Because gold has always been considered money by the central banks, by the powers that be. They have the gold. They already have it, and a lot of it. People say it's only 9% that they hold. I think it's a lot more than that. So gold is held as money. It's not held for industrial purposes. And so, think about it. If you hold gold in your central bank, and there can be powers to keep the gold price down, and you get away with inflating and diluting dollars at will, or whatever currencies that are out there, basically they're all fiat currencies. They're all back to nothing. You don't want to see gold skyrocket. You don't want to see the hype surrounding, an actual finite asset. They don't want that. So I think that the price of gold is it will continue to go up steadily, I think, over time, but I just don't think it's going to have anywhere near the ROI of silver. If I have to choose between precious metals, in the Constitution, it literally states no state shall make any money out of anything but silver and gold coinage. So if I have to choose between the two monetary metals, between silver and gold, 100 times out of 100 times, I'm choosing silver. Because it's used in industry, it's used in electric cars, it's used in solar panels, it's used in all the technology. There's so many use cases for silver where the demand is exceeding the supply, and it's easier for the average citizen to stack. So I just look at silver between gold and I go, I think that might be part of it, is more people realizing that they would rather have silver or platinum or palladium instead of gold, because those are decentralized metals in my opinion, whereas gold is the centralized metal. The central banks have it. That's how I feel about gold. And it's a great question that you asked, Corrupt, because a lot of us are asking that same question. Like, what's going on with gold? How is it being held this low with all the dollars that have been printed? It should be skyrocketing. I think it's just a matter that the central banks and the powers that be already have a lot of the gold, if not, a very, very large majority that we don't even know about. You got to remember, some of the central banks don't even really tell you the exact figures of how much they have. So we don't really know how much gold the central banks are holding, but we know they got a lot of it. And it's just held as money. There isn't really industrial use cases. There is, but they're not using it for that because silver is a much better solution. So that's how I feel about gold. Between silver and gold, I would much rather choose silver. And I actually like Bitcoin more than gold. I like silver more than Bitcoin, but I like Bitcoin more than gold. And I actually even like palladium and platinum more than gold myself, because palladium, platinum, I think the reason platinum and palladium or specifically palladium, my palladium position has been going up quite a bit lately. And I think it's just because it's such a finite metal. You got to remember, palladium is actually like you can't just go and mine palladium. You have to mine, I believe it's like there's mines that are mining other metals like cobalt and nickel and all these different metals. And it is actually, palladium is a derivative of those mining operations. So you can't just, if palladium goes up in price, you can't just go directly mine palladium like you can directly mine gold. It has to be a product of mining another metal. That's how it works with palladium, and that's why it is so rare and hard to get palladium. So it's like, I think there's a movement towards more rare metals that haven't been mined yet or are being eaten up by industry. So that's what I talked about this in that there was a debate between Michael Saylor and Frank, I think it's Gustra, and they were talking about only gold. I'm like, why did they not bring up industrial metals? Industrial precious metals is where it's at. And in my opinion, gold isn't an industrial precious metal. I feel that it's just been stacked and stacked and stacked, and they have it in their vaults, and they don't want to see gold skyrocket because they're getting away with inflating dollars at will. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. Travis Hudson just gave me $20 and didn't even say, no question or anything, man. That's really generous of you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you, Travis Hudson. That's awesome, man. I really appreciate that. And how's the quality, by the way, everybody? I want to ask about the quality every live stream because I set up the new setup's pretty dang sweet. I can just click a button and boom, we're live and it's working. These are both 1,000-ounce bars. These are both 1,000-ounce bars. JJ says volume. How's the volume? I can see on my computer it says that the volume's working fine. I think we've had the whole live stream and nobody's brought up the volume, so I think it's pretty good. But let me know how the quality is on the live stream. Quality is great. Good quality. Right on. Quality is fantastic. That's what I want to hear because we're live right now. This is a live stream, and so if the quality's good, the quality's good. I like it. Right on. That was the trick. The trick was actually being directly connected to the internet, not using the Wi-Fi. And then I also went into the OBS. I use OBS for my platform. I went in there and dialed in a little bit and changed up the bit rate and all of that. Thanks for everybody that went to my Instagram and shot me DMs and whatnot on how to make a better live stream setup. This is the product of it. We learn quick around here. We learn quick. Someone says, do I have a copper position? It's hard to store a large amount of copper, and I believe in holding the physical precious metal. But from what I can tell, it seems that copper is in a pretty good position because it's like you're either going to use silver or you're going to use copper. And in piping and everything in the building space, in the real estate space, you're going to go for copper. So I see copper. I mean, if the price of 2x4s is going up, copper is going to probably go up too, and it probably already has and will continue to go up. And I think silver is next up as well. So I think copper and silver are probably going to be your best ROIs in the precious metal space. I do consider copper a precious metal. I really do think that those two are going to be key. And those who are building, I bet you if you're in the building industry, you're trying to accumulate as much copper piping as possible. I would imagine that that's what's going on in the building industry. Is anybody who needs copper for their buildings is probably trying to accumulate it just like they're trying to accumulate 2x4s right now. Something to be said about that. I mean, if I was in the real estate business, if I was a builder in construction and I had money in my treasury, I would buy up all of the copper I could find and store it in a warehouse. Like that's what I would do if I was in the real estate or the construction industry. Just like I'd buy silver, owning mineral exchanges. Like I would be looking to convert the treasury into copper or buying a lot of 2x4s and kind of cornering the market as much as I could. That's how Samuel Brandon became the first millionaire in California. I believe he was the first millionaire. He might have been the first millionaire in the state, something along those lines. There's a guy named Samuel Brandon. It's a really cool story. In the beginning of the gold rush, he went and accumulated all of the shovels and the pickaxes, and he basically made a shop so that he could, sell shovels to the miners and sell mining equipment to the miners. And that guy actually was the first millionaire. So it goes to show you, it's a good idea to be accumulating the resources needed if you're in the building space. Bite Hunter says good quality, but it's like watching a Chinese kung fu movie. Your mouth move and the sound trails a little bit, but the sound is good. No worries. I appreciate the insight, Bite Hunter. Appreciate it. I hope that when I do post the videos, because every live stream I do post the live stream to the channel, and so you can watch it later for the people who missed the live stream. But that's a funny comment by Hunter. But I hope that it's good enough that you guys it's not messing up the quality. Christine Miller says the sound and your speaking are out of timing. I don't know if you said that it is out of timing or isn't out of timing. So you guys let me know how the quality is. It might be a little bit off because we are live streaming, so it might be a little bit off, but I hope that the quality is still good regardless. Silver Squeeze talk. We talked quite a bit about the Silver Squeeze in the beginning, but we will talk some more about it before this live stream ends. The reason I have the timer over there is so people that they know that my stuff isn't edited. I never edit my videos, and so that's why I have the little sand timer over there. But we just ran out of time. I usually do 30 minutes on that, and we're already at 51 minutes. So we're almost up at an hour at this live stream. We've almost done an hour live stream. I'll tell you guys what. We'll go for another 30 minutes. I will flip the sand timer if we can get this. I'm going to do that cheesy like thing. If we can get the likes up on here, I will flip the timer and we will go for another 30 minutes, and we'll go till the sand timer runs out again. We get to 300 likes within the next 10 minutes. We get to 300 likes within the next 10 minutes. I will stay for another 30 minutes. If not, we'll call the live stream at night at like 10 o'clock. Or maybe like another 15 minutes or so. So if you guys can hit that like button up to 300 likes, I'll stay longer. That tells me that you guys want me to stay longer, and we can talk more about the Silver Squeeze situation here. Oh, wow. You guys are making me put my money where my mouth is. We're at 271 already. Oh, I forgot. There's 500 people in here. You guys can make that happen pretty easily. Okay, well, that you guys might have succeeded in like less than a minute. Oh, it's 281 now. It's going pretty quick. All right. It looks like I'm gonna be 30 minutes is gonna go by pretty quick. We get that to 300, I'll stay for another 30 minutes. It tells me you guys want me to stay around, I'll stay around. You guys also got to understand I talk really fast. So if there's a delay in the mic, it might be just because I talk like I had 6 espressos before doing this, because I did have six espressos before. It might be what it is. It might be because I'm a squirrel talking way too quick. Oh, man, they got me. They got me for sure. Oh, we're at 300. Oh, they got me. Oh, it looks like we're staying for another 30 minutes. All right, you guys got me. You got me. I don't know. How am I going to do another 30 minutes? No, I'm humbled by it. Apart from the cheesy, hit the like button, It's like I'm humbled that you guys actually want me to stay, because if you guys do hit the like button, you actually want me to stay here talking with you. So I'm humbled by that. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Rob is like the Energizer Bunny. It's only if I have enough caffeine. I have one of those Nespresso machines my buddy Nick bought me, and that's what the situation is. XEPHAEL. I don't know how to pronounce your name, your handle, but he says, do you talk faster than the speed of sound? Maybe. I don't know. Me and Ben Shapiro, we might have that in common. Just talking way too quick. Let me see here. Travis Hudson. Esoteric question among friends. Any thoughts about among friends with a live stream with 500 people in it? Esoteric question. Just among friends. Just a quiet question among 500 of us in the live stream. Just kidding. I appreciate it, Travis. Thank you. He goes, esoteric question among friends. Any thoughts about the energy of silver versus other metals and crystals? That's actually a very interesting question. I actually would love to talk about that. Well, crystals are like, so I have quite a few crystals over here, so let me grab one of my crystals. So this is I believe this is gypsum. And so crystal, if you look at it from a microscopic level, it's actually like the molecules are actually vibrating against each other. They're actually not a solid. So when you see a crystal, you think it's solid, but it's actually molecules vibrating against each other, which is extremely interesting to me because it's like the power behind a crystal. There is actual movement going on within the crystal that you think is a solid, but it's actually energy moving in there, which is crazy. It's such a beautiful thing, crystals and just natural crystals like that. But with silver, what's interesting about silver is that bacteria doesn't stick to it. So that whole term silverware, you hear about silverware, bacteria can't stick to silver, so it's the perfect eating utensil. So you don't even really, you can just wipe it off with water, really. It's just real silverware that's actually made out of silver because bacteria can't stick to silver. It's a very unique metal. There is and I mean, it's written about quite a bit in, all the different old books and everything, including the Bible and all of that. It's like silver has always been talked about as kind of a sacred metal. And I believe the fact that bacteria can't stick to it is a very unique thing that other metals don't have. So there's that for silver as well. So I mean, yeah, I do find, I mean, it does bring me joy to be able to actually touch and hold silver. So it's a good question, especially when you bring up crystals. It's a great question, Travis. I appreciate you bringing that up. Talk about Tesla. Talk about Nikola Tesla. I could talk a little bit about Tesla. Joe Schmo, he says, talk a bit about inflation. My wife is here and needs to hear too. All right, Joe Schmo, we'll talk a little bit about inflation. We talked about this a bit earlier, but the big thing about inflation in relation to the silver squeeze, in relation to stacking silver, is if you have, your savings at a bank, if your money is sitting in a bank account, whether it's Chase or Wells Fargo or wherever the money is, what the problem becomes is, are you making enough interest in that bank to compensate for the inflation rate? Now, they say the inflation rate is 2 point some odd percent. That's what they actually say at the Fed. This isn't my stat. That's their stat. They say it's a little bit over 2% and growing. Does a bank pay you 2% in interest or 3% in interest to keep your money safe? Because over the process of time, even if, you keep your money in the bank and let's say the inflation rate is only 3%. Well, after 5 years goes by, if it's at 3%, you lose 15% of your money by keeping it in savings at the bank. That's not very fair. So that's just at the low bare minimum. But if we really are honest with ourselves, and this is just my personal opinion, I think the inflation rate is well over 10%. So say inflation is really 10 or 20%. That means in the process of 5 to 10 years, your money will be worthless. That's what inflation really is. Inflation is just the silent tax on us all. That is just the dilution of the dollar. But the real problem is, before, people would talk about the inflation rate just because the deficit had been growing year over year and we weren't accumulating enough money from tax revenue to pay for the deficit that was growing. That was already a problem prior to all of this. But now when you inflate the monetary supply by 40, 50% by printing over 10 trillion, $15 trillion, it's not a long shot to say that inflation is going to grow, and it's going to grow fast. So I think hyperinflation is a very real thing. And it's mainly if the banks were compensating, let's say, a fair 5% interest rate, or there's a way to make 5% interest by keeping your money at a commercial bank, that would be different. But it's not like that. And they're not reserve banks either. So they take all the free money that they get, all the free capital. Well, how would you feel? How would you feel if I came to you and said, hey, it's Joe Schmo. That's actually his real name handle. It's not me just saying Joe Schmo. I said, hey, Joe Schmo, I need somebody to hold on to my $1 million. I need someone to hold on to it. I don't need any interest. I just need it at times. If I really want a lot of it, you can give me a lot of pullback and say, why do you need this much money from me? Go through all these things if I want a lot of it. But I just need you to hold my $1 million and then pay me 0.01% for a checking account that holds my $1 million. Is that a cool deal for you? How does that work? Does that work out for you all right? Like, that's what we're doing with these big banks every day. Every day. We're giving them free loans. That's what we're doing at Chase. That's what we're doing at Wells Fargo. That's what we're doing at Bank of America. And then when they fail, inevitably, we bail them out with our tax money, which is like the most backwards, twisted, crazy thing ever that adds to the deficit by bailing out the rich executives that failed at Bank of America in 2007. It's like, so it's criminal in my opinion. That's how I feel about it. But that's how I feel about that. Alex Milo says your channel should be taught in economics class, it's not good for us. I appreciate you, Alex. Thank you so much for that, man. You know, I'm a college dropout, so everything I say here could be completely wrong. But it's just, for me, I try to bring common sense into the economic space because there doesn't seem to be any of it. And the people in the power, the people like Jerome Powell and Janet Yellen, I don't think they're telling the whole truth. I think they're holding out information. And it only makes sense because they went from doing weekly reports to doing monthly reports. And before we know it, the Fed will only talk once a year. You know, who knows how spaced out they want to make their reporting, because obviously they want to tell less. If they changed it by, 400%, less information, changed it from weekly to monthly. So they're trying to give less information over there at the Fed. And that's probably because inflation is growing. Just my opinion. Lex says George Gammon is suing the Fed, wasting his time or legit strategy. Thoughts? I don't think it's a waste of time at all. And I would love to speak with George Gammon at some point in the future because I think he's brilliant. I think George Gammon is brilliant. And I love his videos, actually. He does a very good job. I think, and it's just, suing the Fed is very similar to the silver short squeeze. You know, it might not be, let's put it this way. I want it to work. It might not work. But what it's more important about the silver short squeeze and George Gammon suing the Fed, and he's putting real money on the line. They got some real money together for a real legal team to really actually sue the Fed. But the main thing is the videos he's dropping are getting hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views. So it's drawing awareness. This video right now that I'm doing, we have 533 people in here right now. We're drawing awareness to silver being undervalued and the potential of a silver short squeeze. And most importantly, just starting a stacking journey. It's not about making a quick buck overnight. It's about getting the information out there. So of the 500 some odd people in our live stream right now, and all the people that might be subscribing to the channel now, we're getting out this information about decentralized assets. So it's about spreading a message. So I don't think suing the Fed, maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it doesn't succeed. But at the end of the day, it's spread the message and let people know that, hey, we're getting a bad deal here. We're working wages that are staying the same and getting paid in a dollar that is heavily diluted because of them over at the Fed. Since the Fed's inception, the dollar has lost 99% of its buying power. It buys 99% less than it did when the Fed got put in charge of the dollar. So is there right to sue them? I say so. I think there's some merit there. They made our dollar worth 1% of what it used to be worth. Yeah, I think they're pretty messed up. And now they're saying inflation is only 2% after inflating the monetary supply by roughly 50%. It's like, you print roughly 50% more dollars in like a year and a half than you had all of those years you'd printed in the past. Yeah, the inflation rate's only 2%. Sure, Powell. Poof a little bit more money into the system and then say inflation's only 2%. Makes a lot of sense. But Lex Nilani, it's a great question, and thanks for bringing up George. George Gammon, great guy. Great guy, and I love all of the energy and everything he's bringing into the space, and I learn a lot from him. He's one of those guys that kind of inspires me a bit. I like Robert Kiyosaki. He's probably my favorite right now just because I agree with him on pretty much everything. As you guys know, Robert Kiyosaki, he's big on silver and Bitcoin. I'm big on silver and Bitcoin, so I kind of follow a lot of his principles, and I think that book is a great book, his Rich Dad Poor Dad book. And George Gammon has kind of a similar philosophy. I don't know if he's as bullish on Bitcoin as Robert Kiyosaki, but George Gammon, another great person in the space, and props to him for suing the Fed. That's amazing. Of This World says, love the energy, keep it up. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Mo says, appreciate your take on Bitcoin versus gold debate. Much needed in our current times. Mo, I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Go through this a bit more. Of This World, I really appreciate that. He says, love the energy, keep it up. 333 likes. 333 likes. That's Nikola Tesla would love that. 33 is my lucky number too. I've always loved the numbers 33. I was born in 1993, if you can believe it. On the 6th, you can believe that too. 369 is said to be the keys to the universe because they are like opposites. You have 6 is the positive surrounded by 2 odds. So a positive number by 2 odd numbers is supposedly the key to the universe, and what his AC engines or electric compulsion device of the AC alternating current is basically you have 2 negative numbers with a positive in the center. And so he was always fascinated by 369 and anything divisible by 3. And so that's why Of the World says 333 likes. So someone said talk about Nikola Tesla. That's one of his. He says 369 is the key to the universe. So it's, and people ask like why I changed it from Einstein to Tesla's, because actually after more research, there's some things Einstein said that I really, that has resonated with me that I've liked from Einstein. But overall, the real genius is Tesla. If you're going to compare the two, I think Tesla beats Einstein out of the water. So I ended up changing it to Tesla. And so that's, the Einstein's not coming back. It's going to be Tesla from now on. I like Tesla more. That's how I feel about that. But in regards to the Fed, suing the Fed, I think it's totally worth it. Gibson, he says, I shouted you out on Wall Street Silver, bro. Keep it up. I appreciate that, man. And shout out to them too. They're growing a lot of people around the space. And so, like I said, with the silver, just like suing the Fed, I don't see that as a waste of time. I don't see the silver squeeze as a waste of time at all. It's drawing more awareness into taking your money out of the banks and having it somewhere where you can actually touch and feel it that hedges it against hyperinflation. I see it as they're both drawing awareness to this issue, and it is a much different thing than, easy money, make a Lambo overnight with the GameStop, with silver. It's a far different animal here. We're talking about a $1.3, $1.4 trillion asset, which is actually, it sounds like a lot, but that's the same size as Bitcoin roughly. I mean, silver and Bitcoin are very close on their market cap, which is very interesting. I am the most bullish on both of those things. Of my decentralized portfolio, silver and Bitcoin are my top 2 positions. I mean, actually, it's my top 2 positions, period, is silver and Bitcoin. Silver's number 1, Bitcoin's number 2 right now. And then I have platinum number 3, palladium number 4, and gold number 5. That's how my positions are. But what's interesting is my top 2 positions is silver and Bitcoin, and both of them have very similar market caps that I think will be going up quite a bit. I think Bitcoin could easily get to that 5-10 trillion range, and I think silver could easily get to that 5 trillion range. I really do feel that way. When you really think about it, it's like, okay, the market cap of silver from an overall perspective is roughly like 1.3, 1.4 trillion. Bitcoin about 1.1 trillion or 1.2 trillion. Meanwhile, they printed roughly 15 trillion. That's 15 times Bitcoin's market cap is what they printed out of thin air. 15 times what silver's market cap is printed out of thin air, roughly. It's wild to me. Wild to me. So what we have to understand is what the overall market cap is of the precious metal, and it's ridiculously low. It's ridiculously low, all things considered, especially in this climate. So could it get squeezed? Could there be a silver short squeeze? I think it's possible. Nobody thought Bitcoin was going to be over 50,000. Nobody thought that. But now look where it is. Even Peter Schiff himself is like, oh, Bitcoin will never get to 50,000. Now he wants to sell it as an NFT. Let me get some of this. Appreciate that, Mo, of this world. Appreciate that. Let me make sure I don't want to miss any of these super chats. The Comic Child says, is the squeeze of a modern day run on the banks? Is this squeeze a modern day run on the banks? That's what I see it as. I see it as giving out more information to the public on getting your money away from a central bank or a commercial bank that gives you nothing. You're giving them a free loan. If you really think about it, that's the message that I want to get out there. And I've said it like 10 times now on the live stream, but I'll say it an 11th time. The banks rip us off. We give them free loans to run their business operation of playing in the stock market, shorting silver, doing whatever they do with our money that we give them for free. They give us not even a penny on the dollar. Not even a penny. Inflation is over 2%. They say that. I think it's over 10%. Yet we get not even a penny on our dollar. Not even 1% from the banks for giving them a free loan. That's what this should all be about. And I do think the squeeze is a modern day run on the banks. It's getting out the information that the banks have been ripping us off for too long. We're sick of giving them a free loan. I think it's we the people want to have our money back because we're sick of giving these big banks free loans. And why does Jamie Dimon, if you look at Jamie Dimon, he was so in support of the stimulus package. Like, yeah, we need to just get it out already. Figure it out already over there. Because he's thinking to himself, ooh, they deposit those $1,400 checks right into my bank. They put them right into my bank and I can do whatever I want with that money. That's what he's thinking. He's licking his chops about the stimulus packages. Let's see. Tal Jones says being a dropout is a feature, not a bug. Is a feature. Yeah, I think you're basically saying like being a dropout is a good thing. I'm with you. You know, to me, the college system was good. The reason I'm so anti-college is because YouTube didn't exist until 2007. What we're doing right now didn't even exist until 2007. These supercomputers in our pockets didn't even exist. The first iPhone came out in 2007. If you went back 20 years from today and you went back to 2001, this is pre-YouTube, pre-iPhone, flip phones were a thing in 2001. If you had a flip phone that lit up colors on the back, I remember when I was a kid, you were big time. Big time. You had to get a Motorola Razor. Ooh, you're the hot guy at school if you got the Motorola Razor. You're the hot girl, hot guy at school. You got one of those flip phones, one of the thin ones. Whew, that was the cool stuff right there. But you bring this back 20 years. You bring this supercomputer iPhone back 20 years. You know, they would think this is an alien device. They go, what is this alien technology here? You got a super camera on the back of it. It can contact anyone at your will whenever you want. It's just the craziest thing. It's you know, this is incredible. That's why I'm so anti-college, is because why would I put myself in a Zoom call now to pay a person for a professor that doesn't really even want to be there when I can actually just look up the top economics guys in the country? I can watch an interview with Ray Dalio, for example, for an hour or 2 hours straight on YouTube for free. He's a billionaire. I can literally watch billionaires speak in my free time, and I only got 24 of them a day, and I sleep around 6. If I'm lucky, I get 6 hours. So I got 18 hours a day, and I'm going to spend some of my 18 hours listening to a professor that makes, let's say, 30 to 100,000 a year when I could listen to a billionaire speak for free. So I'm going to pay you to listen to your professor on your Zoom call, take your tests that are super generic and that you're trying to teach a goldfish how to climb a tree all the time in college. And it's like, well, what if I'm a goldfish? What if I'm a squirrel? I don't want to learn how to swim. I want to learn how to climb trees. I'm a squirrel. You know, we're all different. We all have unique sets of skills, and colleges, they want to make you all the same. And I don't understand paying them money right now in today's day and age. You know, 30, 40 years ago, I could see college as a good thing because it's like, that's where you go to get knowledge. Back then, only books were around. It's how you learn. People don't understand how fast technology has been improving and changing, and these iPhones are symbolic of that. That's how I feel about it. I just think it's blasphemy to want to. I don't know if that's the right way to use that term, but I always like saying it. It's ludicrous to pay somebody for an education when it's free. Put yourself in debt for an education, especially if you're there for being an entrepreneur major. Now that's really wild to me. If you're an entrepreneur major, just be an entrepreneur and fail a lot. You'll get better. You know, keep your capital. Don't put yourself in debt. But Scott Koenig, Scott says, looked into other PMs like iridium. I know that there was a big thing on iridium lately, and people are talking about that, and rhodium. Right now, my kind of risky metal that I'm in is palladium, and there's some stuff coming out about palladium being in fuel cells and different things involved with hydrogen. And I think that there's some interest in palladium right now, which is why it jumped over 30. You know, it was for a 10-ounce bar, it's $30,000 for palladium. You know, so it's pretty intense palladium right now, and people are kind of overlooking it a little bit. I'm into palladium. I'm very, very big into platinum. I think platinum is heavily undervalued. I've made videos in the past on platinum, but my next video might not be my next video, but in the very near future, if you want to be subscribed to the channel, I'm going to be talking about a video on platinum versus palladium. I've been researching the two metals for about a few months now. I've been really studying more close than I already had been on those two metals, and I've learned some things about palladium I didn't know in the past. So I'm studying before I come out with that video, but when I do come out with that video, I'm going to be dropping basically everything that is possible to know about palladium and platinum. Be platinum versus palladium will be the title of the video, and that will be coming out in the near future. So if you want to be subscribed to the channel, click the subscribe and the bell and all notifications, and you'll be notified of that future video on palladium and platinum. But those are the two kind of riskier submetals that I buy, is platinum and palladium. But I am not big on iridium, unfortunately. I will look into it though. Blue Lotus says, is Bitmart a fraudulent platform? I don't know enough about Bitmart, so I can't really comment on that. There's so many places to get into crypto that just I wouldn't go with anything that is like a small market cap. If it's got less than $1 billion in their platform, I would I would definitely try to go to a different one than that. But there's so many reputable places to go for crypto. Somebody's saying the audio is jacked. The audio might not be too great, I guess. I don't know what it is with the audio, but I'm trying. I hope it's good enough for the live stream. I hope the quality is still decent. Wow, we're at 385 likes. That's amazing. I promised I'd stay for another 30 minutes because we got to over 300 likes. You know, I wanted to stay for another 30 minutes. Normally we just do these for, you know, an hour or so, but right now we're about an hour, 15 minutes. So I'll keep staying live. It says audio sounds good. Video is lagged. It might be because I've been live for so long. I've been live for an hour and 15 minutes. Maybe the longer we go on, it gets a little bit choppy, but hopefully I think the quality is still pretty good. I think it might be a little bit off, but the quality should be good enough to keep this going. But feel free. I'm watching the questions right now. If you want to know about my perspective on the silver short squeeze, we'll probably go over it a bit more here in the comments, but I will post this video later on so you can rewatch this video, or people who missed out on this video, they can watch it later on as well. All of my live streams get posted to the channel. But I'm looking at the comments right now. I got the comments up on the screen, so I am looking at your comments. Let's go over some questions and answers here, some Q&A. Pretty sure I didn't miss any. I'm looking at all comments, but I'm pretty sure I didn't miss any super chats. I never like to miss those. I really appreciate it. Go through. Yeah, Blue Lotus was the last one, so I got all those. I didn't miss any of those. Always enjoy your perspective. Thank you. Appreciate that, Alvin. What altcoins do you invest in? None of them. No altcoins. I'm only in Bitcoin. Silver is gaining momentum. It won't slow down. It is going to crack. You know, I'm with you. I think that there's some major momentum in silver happening, and it's basically the more things like this happen. I mean, it's not about just May 1st and having some quick flip. That's what I've been talking about in this whole video. It's about getting awareness to sound money, bringing awareness to what sound money principles are and what sound money really is. And this right here, all this is sound money. That's what that is. And it pun intended. It's a beautiful, silver makes it's a beautiful sound, silver, you know, gotta love it. Thoughts on COMEX? The more I think about COMEX, the more I think about just doing everything that people can to drain the COMEX, to get dealers to buy the physical silver from the COMEX and own physical silver. You know, if all of the citizens own physical silver, that really does put a stranglehold on this. It really is serious. So it could happen. A squeeze really could happen. And what would really cause a squeeze is if the banks felt so much pressure from the audience that was getting into physical silver that they actually went long silver and got out of their short positions and covered their short positions. You know, what is a short squeeze? A short squeeze is when somebody, in order to short something, you have to buy the share of it to short. So you actually have to own the stock to short the stock. And then when you're short, if you get squeezed, you have to rebuy the stock at a higher price and declare a loss. That's how a short squeeze works. And the reason it's a squeeze and it goes up because of it is because all the shorts that were betting on something to go down, they were wrong. And so now they have to cover. And when they cover their short position, they have to rebuy the stock that they had bet against. Sometimes what's very interesting is there isn't any shares for them to buy. So then they're really underwater because they were betting on something to go down and the market won't allow them to buy their shares to cover their short position. And that's what's so unique about a squeeze on silver is in order to short silver and to cover a short squeeze, you have to buy the physical COMEX bar, which is 2 COMEX bars from 1951. For them to cover their short position, they have to buy the physical silver. Now, if they are short, they're in a very tough position if the audience doesn't want to sell their physical silver. If the COMEX gets drained of its silver and they are short and it goes up, say silver goes to 40, but they were betting on it to go down at 26, well, what happens? because they're going to need to buy the physical metal. But what if they don't have the physical metal to buy? Then the people who hold the metal can sit there and go, ha ha ha, joke's on you, big banks. You want my physical silver? Now it's 60 an ounce, 70 an ounce, 80 an ounce. We call our shots now. We call what the price of silver is, because basically you'd be in the position of power. If they need the silver to cover their short position, but there isn't physical silver available for them to buy to cover the short position that they are way overextended, shorting and holding down the price of physical silver, yeah, that would be a very painful scenario for a short squeeze. This is much different than, you know, a micro cap short squeeze. It would be, they would have to come up with the physical silver. And what if they can't? What if there isn't enough physical silver to satisfy their short positions and they were caught, you know, way over shorting silver? Be a very interesting squeeze scenario, because silver right now should be in the hundreds of dollars per ounce. It really should, but it's so falsely suppressed. I mean, it's just ridiculous that it's in the 20s right now. It's just so cheap. It's so cheap in my opinion. I think it's just a matter of time before it changes. So that's what the difference is in the short squeeze scenario. What's your thoughts on luxury watches? I'm into luxury watches. You know, my watch has gone up quite a bit in value since I bought it. People think I have like a luxurious watch, or it's like showy or something, and it is, but it goes up in value. My watch pays me to wear it. The Rolex market went up like 25% over the last year. It's been wild. So luxury watches have been going up quite a bit. All things collectible, all things finite is where I want to put my money right now. So silver is finite. Watches are finite. My watch, my specific watch, the Yachtmaster I have, I always thought they were super undervalued because it's solid gold, but at the same time, they're not making this style anymore. So I want stuff that they're not making anymore. I find it to be super undervalued. You know, vintage watches that there's only so many of them in existence. You get the full box and papers and everything. I feel like they're super undervalued. Things like that is where I want to park my money. I would much rather, ironically enough, I would much rather have a $20,000 watch than $20,000 in the bank. Or $30,000 watch or $30,000 in the bank, because the $30,000 watch is going to go up to being $40,000, whereas the money in the bank is going to just go down in value. So that's how I feel about it. Platinum better value than gold? I think so. I have quite a bit of money in platinum, and if you want to know that I put my money where my mouth is, just go to my Instagram at Rob Sultan on Instagram. I post pictures of platinum. I post pictures of these specific bars there. If you want to shoot me a DM there, you can shoot me a DM there. That's my personal Instagram at Rob Sultan on Instagram. Go follow me over there and check out the company. Fork picks all around. It's funny. In the watch industry, you have to show a picture of a fork with your watch to prove that you own it. It's kind of one of those underground things. I like this new mic setup, by the way. I used to have like a real skinny mic setup here, and this is like the fancy Joe Rogan style mic. I recently put this one in. A lot more comfortable. Let's see here. I'll go through a few more comments. I think, look at that. We're actually out. The thing's out of sand already. So we did another 30 minutes. That went by really fast. So yeah, we've done an hour and 22-minute live stream. Mickey says, change your IG profile pic to those two bars. Maybe I will. Expose Perth Mint, please. This is just my opinion, just my personal opinion on Perth Mint. I thought it was very odd that they said they had enough silver, but they were proposing rations on silver. So they were making their audience ration their silver, buying in rations, but they said they had enough silver. It's like, they had enough, they wouldn't ration the silver. And that whole situation that they supplied the COMEX instead of the people, I thought that was very wrong. And then the way that they handled that whole situation just showed bad PR and that they didn't care about their customers. So, I mean, I'm not doing business with Perth Mint. So I think it was pretty wrong what they did. What's the weight of these silver blocks? They're both a bit over 1,000 troy ounces. One is a bit over 1,060 and one is a bit over 1,030 troy ounces. How much are you buying tomorrow? I actually already bought. And that's what I think the whole movement should be about, is starting your stacking journey. It's not about just buying in one day. It's about the journey of precious metal stacking. You know, just like George Gammon, he might not win against the Fed, but he's drawing a ton of awareness towards the Fed. And this silver short squeeze situation, maybe they only get it up to, you know, 27 or 30 an ounce. Maybe it doesn't skyrocket to 100 an ounce on the silver short squeeze, but it drew awareness to silver, and eventually they will feel the pressure. So the silver short squeeze, in my personal opinion, it won't happen this weekend, but I think over the next few weeks to the next few months, we'll see silver jumping well over 30 an ounce, 40 an ounce, and maybe even up to 50 an ounce. You know, I really feel that silver is very falsely suppressed and has a lot of room to run. And that's why I say, if I have the choice between silver or gold, I'm going to choose silver every time. And that might be affecting gold's market cap as more people accumulating silver, or selling their gold to buy silver. Dorian says, you mentioned earlier you'd like to see SLV drain. Could you elaborate why? Yes, you know, SLV is actually the custodian for SLV ETF is JP Morgan. And JP Morgan has been caught multiple times manipulating the metals market and has settled outside of court. I mean, to the tune of billions of dollars. So JP Morgan has been messing with the metals market for quite some time in a criminal way. And they've settled out of court. This is actual public information. And so for them to be able to be the custodian for the assets of silver for SLV, I think is completely wrong. And it's a monopoly in a way, because they are shorting silver, but they have the physical silver to cover their short positions or to give to their buddies to cover their short positions. You shouldn't be able to be the custodian and mess with the precious metals market and short against silver if you already own the physical silver. It's like, it's very wrong. That's how I feel about it. But if between SLV and PSLV, I'm going to choose PSLV every time. Between gold and silver, I'm going to choose silver every time. And between an ETF like PSLV or physical silver, I'm going to choose the physical silver every time. So that's pretty much my perspective on it. Mike Maloney is still stepping on platinum and palladium. Mike Maloney's a good dude. He's a good dude, and he's got really great things to say. But I did make a video that was talking about platinum and how he was wrong about platinum back when platinum was like 750, 800, I think, back then. So platinum has outperformed everything, really. If you look at the past year and a half, 2 years, platinum's been really outperforming silver and gold. And I think it's going to continue to be a performer. I think silver is going to be the next big performer, but I think platinum is a big performer here over the next little bit of time. Actually, no, silver might be a better performer than platinum over the past year and a half, 2 years. But platinum's stepping up. It's definitely outpacing gold. So we'll see what happens. So look, the anxious stacker says, yeah, I sold an American Gold Eagle to buy more silver. So that might be the case that we're having here with gold. And that might be why gold's going down, is people selling their gold to buy silver because silver is so wildly undervalued. You got to remember, the historic silver to gold ratio is 16 to 1, which means per 16 ounces of silver, you could buy 1 ounce of gold. 1 ounce of gold was supposed to be equal to 16 ounces of silver. Right now, that's way out of proportion. It's nowhere near 16 to 1 right now on silver. So basically what that means is if you know, if silver was $1, gold is supposed to be $16. It's supposed to be 16 to 1. But it's not even near that ratio right now. I think that it's just a matter of time. And Political Mess says, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. I agree. That's how I feel about it myself. Well, we're almost at 500 likes up in here. We got 444 likes, 444 likes. If we can get that to 500, that'd be pretty rad. We can get the like counter to 500. That'd be awesome. It really, you know what it does? If there's information in this video that you found useful and you think could really help society getting this information out there, by liking the video, it helps more people watch the video. It helps the video get out there, and it really does draw awareness to this issue here. And if you want to be a subscriber to the channel, we'd really love to have you as a subscriber. I think it's like 50% of the people are not subscribed to the channel that watch the videos. So if you do subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. It just helps get more awareness out there on these issues. And these are the types of things we talk about on the channel. 478 likes. Wow. You guys really stepped. I'm going to bust out the like pillow right now. You guys are awesome. That's so cool. We're almost at 500. If you could smash that like button to 500, we'd really appreciate it. We got the fancy YouTuber like pillow over here. But no, it really does help. It really does help, and it does get the content out to more people, and maybe this helps the whole movement. You know, maybe getting this information out there actually helps the short squeeze movement. Who knows? Again, it's just my opinion, could be completely wrong, not to be taken as financial advice, just financial education based on my opinion. Disclaimer, could be completely wrong. I have to say that just in case. Can I post your video on my Reddit page? Absolutely, sure. I think it's free to share it anywhere. You guys, and by sharing the videos, you know, that must be what happened with the channel, because I went from, I had 1,000 subscribers like 6 months ago, and now I'm almost at 21,000. I might even be over 21,000 now. I don't know where I'm at, but it's just crazy, the growth on the channel, and it must be from people sharing the videos. So thank you so much to everybody sharing the videos and getting the message out there. And all I can really do is make videos that are genuine. You know, that's why I like doing these live streams, and I like not editing my videos, because it just doesn't seem right to edit the video. And so I just basically shoot the videos and post them. And this one is a live one. Kelly says, I wish I could like it more. Thanks, Rob. Well, I appreciate you being here, Kelly. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Just crossed 4,900 ounces. GC in the house just crossed 4,900 ounces. Congratulations to GC. That is awesome, man. Congratulations. Wow, we're at 512 likes. Thank you guys so much. Everybody that hit the like button, thank you so much. It really does help the video get out there. And because of you hitting the like button, you will see this video get out there a lot more. It really, really does help. Jay says, is a short squeeze the same as a GameStop short squeeze? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's more so about the movement of buying and holding sound money and basically protecting yourself against hyperinflation. Could silver get short squeezed? I think it's possible. Some people say it's not possible. I personally think it's possible. Being it's only a $1.3, $1.4 trillion asset class, and it's wildly undervalued right now, and if they're overly shorting it, I feel like it's possible. And the other thing too, the other reason I feel it's possible is because this is round 2. If you notice from the title, this is short squeeze round 2. The first one got silver over 30 an ounce, and that actually did get people pretty nervous. In the dealer space and the wholesale channels, people were accumulating, and there was a point where the wholesale channels were paying more than retail was willing to pay at the time, because the dealers were so scared that they knew they needed to get their inventory right, and so they were overpaying at the beginning of the first short squeeze. And I think that same crowd has only accumulated and grown in numbers. So if there's a second short squeeze, which is supposedly happening here on May 1st, so we'll see at market open on Sunday what happens. There's a lot more, you know, silverback gorillas and silver squirrels out there. You know, there's a lot more of them, you know, so it's very possible. It's very possible that this does trigger a big movement in silver. I really do feel it is possible. So we'll see what happens. Supposedly it's going to happen this weekend. I think it happens over the next few months, but I'm not really a gambler with silver. I'm holding it for the long term. But I don't look at it the same way as I would look at GameStop, or I'd look at AMC, or I'd look at Dogecoin, or any of that stuff. I look at it as a long-term play with conviction. You know, that's how I look at silver. I don't look at it as a quick way to make a Lambo overnight. It's a different thing. Yeah, my team is Silver Squirrels team. If you know me, we're the Silver Squirrels. There's the Silverback Apes and the Gorillas. We're friends. The Squirrels and the Apes were friends, but my squad is Squirrels. We're Silver Squirrels over here. We're small little critters, but we're mighty. We're mighty little squirrels, and we hide our acorns all over the place. I don't even know where all my acorns are. We just keep hiding them. So that's how I roll. Ew, Lambo, Supra. I say ew, Lambos and Supra. I want a Tesla. What cracks me up is everybody talks about Lambos and McLarens and Bugattis, but meanwhile you get a Tesla Roadster and you could smoke all of those cars. Just smoke them. How would you feel if you dropped like $1 million on a Bugatti and then off the line a Tesla just smoked you? I'd be mad. I'd be like, this $1 million hunk of junk right here. What was I thinking? A Tesla just smoked me and they got 3 kids in the back of it. It's terrible. Get like some Ferrari and you just get smoked by a mom, like a soccer mom with her kids. It just goes to show you that the electric cars are just better technology. They're faster. Tried sending you a super chat, but payment system keeps failing. I'm sorry, man. It was working earlier. Maybe it's not working anymore. I don't know. I hope it's still working. You know, maybe we're spitting too much real information, guys. Maybe we're throwing too much information out here and they want to turn it off. Who knows? But the more people like this and the more people subscribe, our message can't really be turned off that way. So we're moving things up in the right direction. And we're at 533 likes in here. That's amazing. And we got 550 people in the live feed. That's incredible to me. It's incredible. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. We've been live for an hour and 30 minutes. I was planning to go live for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And we always do these live streams and end up being on here for hours. But I appreciate you all so much for being here. It means a lot to me. Thank you. Read a few of these comments. Yes, Rob, Ethereum is showing a bullish pattern. I like Ethereum now. Ethereum, BTC, silver, and gold. You know, my position is silver, Bitcoin, platinum, palladium. Those are my top four. But Ethereum, it's caught my eye. It's definitely caught my eye, and I'm watching it close. I'm watching it very close. Yeah, we do have more likes than viewers. That's amazing. But we have a lot of viewers too. We got 548 likes. So that's an amazing ratio right there, guys. We got more likes than viewers. That's a great ratio. So I appreciate everybody for doing that, honestly. And I stayed here for way longer just because I just appreciate you all being here so much. So we've talked about everything I pretty much wanted to talk about in regards to the silver short squeeze. And we will post this video. Now I'm just basically doing Q&A and doing question and answers here. In the live stream and watching these live comments coming in. But this video will be posted. If you missed the beginning of the video, it will be posted for you to watch at a later time. Otherwise, we're just doing some Q&A right now, talking about just everything about it. Ethereum is outdated tech. Look into AVAX Avalanche. You know, everybody has the thing is, everybody has the next altcoin for self-driving lawnmowers. You know, it's like, this is the next best self-driving lawnmower of all time. You can get it from your phone, read this white paper and this and that. But with cryptocurrency, there really only needs to be 3 of them, in my opinion, or even just 2. One of them needs to be the storage of wealth, like Bitcoin, be the digital gold type situation. One of them, and which is closed loop and finite at 21 million. You can't make any more of them. And one of them needs to be a currency, and another one of them needs to be something for like smart contract deployment, which could actually be the currency one. So really, it's like Ethereum and Bitcoin are the only 2 that's needed, and maybe Litecoin. You know, those 3 are what's needed. So the altcoin situation, until I see actual usability from it and there's actually like a real use case and real institutional money going into it, I'm not really into the altcoin thing. Lift the silver. I don't know. I don't need another hernia. These are pretty heavy. You got to have good form when you move those bars. You know how people have good form when they squat? You got to have good form when you hold 1,000. It's 70 pounds. You know, you got to have good form with those things. You got to make sure your back's straight. You know, got to do the squat motion with them. With me, you know, if I lift one of these, I'll get a hernia on camera, and I don't need that in my life right now. I'll tell you what, we get to 700 likes. We get to 700 likes in here. I'll curl it. I'll curl a silver bar live. That'd be scary because I could drop it. You never know what could happen if I curl the silver bar live. We get to 700 likes, I'll curl it. That's now you guys can really make me put my money where my mouth is there. You know, if you get to 700 likes on the like counters, 700 likes, I'll curl it. Do a full curl. I won't just lift it, I'll curl it. We'll see if I can drop it on my face. Hey, it's on you guys now. It's on you guys now. I said 700 likes, and you got to make sure you do it before I end the stream, you know? Well, I'll just get to like 699 likes and I end the stream real quick. Nah, I wouldn't do that. But we're at 575 likes, and we got 500 people in the house. So if we get to 700 likes, it's pretty close. Only 120 likes away. So if 120 people of the 500 people in here hit the like button, it's possible. And the more people that hit the like button, more people might see this video, so it could happen. It's up to you guys. People want to see me curl this bar. That's funny. Would you convert gold to silver? I already did. Christopher, I already did. I'm big on silver. I have a lot more silver than gold. You can't curl it. You don't have what it takes. You know, I think it's this chair. Because of this chair, people think that I'm like a little guy. And I am. I'm like 5'11", 6 foot, but I'm not like a little guy, you know. I could probably curl it. We'll see what happens. How heavy in kilograms? I don't know the exact weight in kilograms. 1,000 ounces is roughly 70 pounds of silver, and these are over 1,000 ounces. So each 100-ounce bar is a 7-pound bar of silver. So this is actually, you know, 70 pounds plus, like 72 pounds, 73 pounds is the bar. So I am at 600 likes. We're only 100 likes away from me curling this thing. If we get to 700, you guys are gonna really, that could be intense. I'll tell you what, I'll lower it. 650. 650 likes. 650 likes and we'll curl it. We'll curl the silver bar. And that's how we'll end the live stream, is me curling a bar and dropping it on my toe. That's how we'll end the live stream. Keep in mind, we've been live talking about the silver squeeze for an hour and 40 minutes now. An hour and 40 minutes. It is a great workout moving silver. And you got to make sure you got good form. You got to make sure you have good form when you're moving those kind of bars. And I dropped it to 650 and we're at 606. We got 606 likes. 650 and we do it. 650 and we do it. Yeah, see what, you're 5'11", thought you were 5'2" at the camera. It's the high chair. I like the chair because it's comfortable, you know. The chair, it's a comfortable chair, but it makes me look shorter than I am. Describe the pic to my right. That's Nikola Tesla chilling with a Tesla coil. It's actually a legitimate photo of him, which is pretty wild. Or to my, no, in the video that would be to my right. To my left, that's a Banksy on my left and a Mike Tyson, and I like Jaguars. And that's a couple 100-ounce silver bars right there. And I got a maglev light bulb that's actually floating in thin air, which Tesla would probably appreciate. $6.16, $6.17. We're coming up pretty close on this. Cardano. Some people like the Cardano situation. Personally, it seems like there's like a battle between Cardano and Ethereum. You know, so it's like those two are at each other. You think silver spot price will break 30? I truly do believe silver spot price will break 30 in the next few weeks, if not the next few months. But I really think it could be in the very near future that silver does get over 300. 700 likes and he stays another hour. Now you guys are just trying to hold me hostage here is what's going to happen at this point. I'm just, and Lord knows I'll do it. But at some point I got to end these live streams so that when people go to rewatch the video, it's not too long for them to rewatch these. What are your thoughts on natural gold nuggets? Worth keeping, melting, or trading? It depends. Like I have California crystalline gold nuggets, and those go for a very big premium. So some gold nuggets actually go for a more premium than their melt weight. So I would say they're worth keeping, but I would rather have silver than gold nuggets. Depends on what you're into, but there's some really, really cool gold specimens that actually go up quite a bit in value as well, apart from just their gold value. They become specimens at a certain level of them. So that's how I feel about that. Wow, we're at 626 likes. They're gonna make me curl this 1,000-ounce bar. I don't even know if I could do it. I don't even know. We'll try. We'll try my best. I'm gonna have to make sure I don't drop it on my toe. I'm gonna 650 likes and I do it. We're at 627 likes. If you guys hit it to 650 likes, I'll even help you guys. If it gets to 650, I'll do it. I'll try it. But we got to end it on something fun here because we're pretty much at the end of the live stream. I don't like to go more than 2 hours on these live streams. And so we'll probably go live again maybe tomorrow and we'll talk about some more stuff that we didn't talk about in this live stream. But we've already talked about pretty much everything I wanted to talk about in regards to the silver short squeeze scenario here. One or two hand. I mean, I don't know about 70 pounds one-handed. I thought two-handed was already hard enough. They're just trying. You want me to lose my toe, don't you? You got we're only 15 likes away. We're 15 likes away for this. This is intense. Oh, we went down to like people are we went from 635 down to 634. Somebody doesn't want me to curl it, you know, so maybe they're going to work in my favors now. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't curl 70 pounds one-handed. That's a little too much. I found a nice gold nugget in Oregon here in a river off Mount Hood. It's almost a ½ ounce. Yeah, it's super cool. Congratulations, Helix. That's awesome, man. ETH is fast and risky with updates to code. Binance is a copy of ETH, but centralized in ADA. Cardano is slow and safe with their code. All three will be smart contract platforms needed to fill the space. It's going to be very interesting what happens between the two of them. It's going to be interesting. I mean, right now for me, it's just all in on Bitcoin and just not speculating on the other altcoins and smaller coins. Australia has the world's biggest nuggets. That is correct, Aaron. That is correct. Would you still buy silver if you had to pay an $8 premium per ounce? I am only able to get silver bullion in my country, at least on trusted websites. You know, we'll see what happens after. We'll see what happens after this weekend. We'll see what happens. I do genuinely believe that the silver short squeeze will get it at least, over 30. You know, I really do think that we've already broken 30 on the first short squeeze. Now there's far more silver stackers on the second one. Excuse me. So I think it's just a matter of time. Oh man, we're only 5 likes away. 5 more likes and I curl the thing. That's going to be intense. I don't even know if I can pull that off. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to get some water in me and see if we can pull this off. All right, all right. They did it. 656 likes. Oh man, I have to curl a 1,000-ounce bar now on camera. I'm saying that like there's somebody else in the room. It's like, no, there's just me here. But so, guys, if I drop it on my toe, you know, it's not gonna be fun here. All right, we're gonna try this. We're gonna try this. I'm gonna have to take my watch off. But it is a fun way. It's a fun way to end the live stream. We'll end the live stream on a fun note. I'm gonna curl a 1,000-ounce bar and we'll end the live stream. Let's see what I could do here. Let's see. This is how you find out it's a real bar based on how much of a tomato my face looks like when I'm holding this thing. Hang on. Ready? All right, there's 2 of them. Boom. Whew. You see that? You see that right there? You got the sunburn going from that. The things I do for my subscribers, Appreciate you all so much for being here. That's a good way to end the live stream. Thank you all so much for being part of the channel. Have a great rest of your evening. Have a great rest of your evening. If you want to reach out to me in a DM, if you have any more questions that I missed your comments in here, please do reach out to me in a DM to my Instagram at Rob Sultan on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter, RJ Sultan on Twitter as well. Someone has my Rob Sultan handle and it's bumming me out with the Twitter situation. I have RJ Sultan on Twitter. So if you want to follow me there on Twitter, I only have like 94 people on Twitter. So if we could get some more people to Twitter, I would really appreciate that. But if I miss your questions, shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'm out of breath a little bit. It's kind of hard to curl that thing. That's pretty heavy bar and it's like odd size. So we're able to do it twice though. We got 2 curls in. So shoot me a DM on my Instagram. If I missed your comment on here, go to Rob Sultan on Instagram, shoot me a DM there and I will get back to you. I'm also on Twitter as well. Thank you so much. Again, this was an amazing live stream. We still got 510 people in the house. I kind of want to stay almost, you know, it's just, we can't do over 2 hours on the live stream. We gotta end it at some point. So people who watch it later, you know, don't have to stay for too long, but it's a blast doing these live streams. And stay strong to the silverback gorillas out there and all my fellow silver squirrels in our little movement. We're friends. Silverback gorillas and silver squirrels, we're friends. And I think that this silver squeeze, it really does draw a lot of awareness into the silver stacking community. And I think it's a beautiful thing. So with that being said, let's see what happens. You know what we'll do? We'll go live again. We should go live again Sunday night. So tomorrow's Saturday. The market doesn't open on Saturday, but on Sunday night, if you want to be subscribed to the channel, click the red subscribe button and then click the bell and all notifications. And we will go live again sometime Sunday after the market opens. It opens at 3 p.m. Pacific over here. So we'll see what happens when market opens Sunday. That's a good time to go live, I think. We'll go live again on Sunday. And I think I'm going to drop a video tomorrow as well. So stay tuned for that. See you at the next video. Signing out. Have a great rest of your night.